is, vale, pending is active, Bitcoin is active. Perfecto, pues ahí tenemos Bitcoin activo, familia. Ya está activa la idea bajista de Bitcoin por quiebre de estructura. Esto significa que ya automáticamente borramos nuestro setup de compras y ya nos enfocamos solamente en las ventas.
Yo, what is good, family? Hope you all are having an amazing day. Let's kick it off with today's video. We're gonna break down the setup we had yesterday on the live analysis session with the private group of students in Spanish. And we had a beautiful setup. Let's break it down. Pretty simple structure, so let's just cover it because we're gonna go back to basics. First of all, we have the opening candle right here, which is the next one. This was 8:55 a.m., so this is 5 minutes before, and actually where I start looking at the chart at the open of the candle at 8:55. Now, we had on the Madrid Open a nice bullish idea. We had low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, bullish break of structure. This entry happened at 8:15 a.m. and was the entry for the Madrid Open, as I just said. Now, this bullish break of structure gives us a very clean one impulse, first impulse to the upside. Then we had a pullback, giving us the first pullback of the structure. And then we had the market going all the way to the upside, giving the second impulse. Now, with this bearish candle, because we are on a bullish range, this bearish candle confirms the second pullback. Therefore, the second pullback, now that we are right here in this moment in time in the market, in the chart, this will be the higher low potentially on the second pullback. So given this structure, now we just have to mark up the last high and the last low for the pending orders. So this is the last high and this is the last low. Now this high is what? This high is a higher high. Now this higher high, because it is a higher high, we have to look for a bullish rule of the third impulse. Because we have to look for a bullish rule of the third impulse, we must verify that we are following the rules. The rules for the rule of the third impulse are, the main one is that you have to have two impulses and two pullbacks. And also, the candle that confirms the pullback cannot be the candle that gives the entry. So, pretty simple. Right here, do we have two impulses and two pullbacks? We have first impulse, first pullback, second impulse, second pullback. Fantastic. First rule, done. Now, the second rule is the candle that confirms the pullback, the second pullback, cannot be the candle that gives the entry. Right here, one candle confirms the pullback. All of this was an impulse, and then when this bearish candle closes, we confirm the pullback. So that's fantastic because one candle confirms the pullback, and then another candle could give the entry. All right, so they must be different candles. This rule is basically made for the scenarios where, let's say that this candle did this and broke previous candle's low. When a candle that is not closed breaks previous candle's low, automatically we have a pullback. And if the same candle that breaks previous candle's low skyrockets and creates the higher high, we will have the higher low and the entry on the same candle. Those setups are not taken in consideration, all right? And that rule basically is to filter out those scenarios. So with that being said, now we have the possibility of saying, all right, this is a valid bullish rule of the third impulse. This is our entry. Our invalidation goes to the lowest low of the entry model, and the exit will go for the 1-to-1. So that will be our bullish rule of the third impulse at the open of the London session. Now, with that being said, that's our buy. Now let's go for the sell. The sell goes to on the last low, which is this one. Now, this is a higher low. Therefore, we will go for a bearish break of structure. We only need one rule for the bearish BOS, which is one rule making the highest high and one rule giving the BOS. Right here, this is the candle that creates the highest high, and another candle will give the entry. So we are following that rule. Therefore, the bearish BOS is a valid pending order. Right at the open of the session, you should be having this as a buy stop and this as a sell stop. So both ideas are valid pending orders. Now, both ideas being valid pending orders means that you have to go beforehand to the market. If you jump in at 9 a.m. and you try to do all these analysis and set up the pending orders, make sure the price is following the rules, everything, in a matter of minutes, you can really miss the setup. And today, I mean yesterday with this setup, it was a super clear as scenario and very clean lesson about being on time on the charts. So, first things first, the opening candle, boom, gives you the entry straight away. All right, the opening candle at 9 a.m. is activating the bearish BOS. Right when the market activates the bearish idea, you automatically cancel the buy. You don't even think about buying anymore because price already gave you the short. When price gives you the short, you literally let it run. Yes, this setup activated pretty fast. The session opened at 9 a.m. as always. The idea went active at 9:04. So it was only 4 minutes of session plus the 5 minutes of pre-market analysis. That's 9 minutes of trading session in this day, which is amazing. But that's your main job, which is executing the setup on time at the right place at the right price. But once it is executed, there is nothing that can make you to say, oh, I have to close the trade earlier, unless you have a red folder on the US dollar. Right here it's 9 a.m. It's the open of London session, so there is no news about the US dollar. So you just let it run. You have your invalidation and you have your exit. Price is executed. Fantastic. You just let it run. This was fairly fast. All right. We obviously had faster setups. This was 1 hour and 15 minutes in total, which is fairly quick. And yeah, that was basically everything. So the lesson is stay beforehand on the charts. Don't jump straight away when the session is opening because this was at 9:04. All our setups are activated at 9:02, 9:01, exactly 9 a.m. So you never know when the setup is going to go active. So always stay beforehand on the charts on time. So you have all the time of the world to analyze the structure, to set up your orders, and so on and so forth. I have 8 years of experience, so I can allow myself to give me 5 minutes, some days even 3 or 2 minutes, and that's enough for me. But for you guys that are starting, most of you, perhaps you need 10 minutes, perhaps you need 15, 30 minutes to go over the charts, to practice a little bit so you're not cold on the time of the live market. You have to adapt this to yourself, but it's impossible for you if you're new to execute properly if you just jump in 1 or 2 minutes before the candle opens. All right? So guys, with that being said, remember on the description of the video you have the link to my free Telegram channel. I give weekly updates on that channel, and also you have the link to my Instagram. You can ask me to my DMs about available spots for the private group of students and see what we have for you. If we do, you will have access to all my intensive courses where I explain all my trading strategies, also access to all my live analysis sessions that I do from Monday to Friday in Spanish and English at the London Open. And also you will have access to my private app where I give all my market ideas about Forex and crypto. So guys, with this being said, see you all in the next videos. Let's get it.